We continue with the final half hour of the show and featuring this morning a longtime friend and CEO and Chief Executive Officer of the Childersburg Chamber of Commerce, Tom Roberts. And Tom, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Good to have you with us, and it's good to be anywhere at our age, ain't it, man?
Absolutely. I woke up on the correct side of the grass today.
Tom and I have been friends and co-workers for many, many years in broadcasting.
I remember when you were a rookie.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited about, as many people are, the positive activity that's going on in Childersburg.
Well, it's not just Childersburg. There's so many things going on all across South Talladega County, and some of it in the near future is going to spill over and include our neighbors in Coosa County. It's an exciting time to be a part of this region. It really is.
I was through Childersburg yesterday, and the traffic volume is tremendous on 280 there.
Well, and that is magnified by all the construction that's going on. The obvious is going to be the bridge construction, Jimmy. It's important that people slow down and be aware of the speed limits through there, because even the speed limit is a little bit fast for what's going on there. But there are other factors as well, because there is a lot of construction and remodeling going on, and that means heavy equipment pulling in and out. We also have the factor that the bridge is not the only ALDOT project on the books. They're going to be making a lot of changes from the Highway 21 exit off of 280 in Sylacauga all the way to the Coosa River Bridge. They're going to be making a lot of changes in the crossovers and making them a lot safer. Everyone that remains is going to have speed up lanes, going to have turn lanes and things like that, and it's going to make it so much safer and easier to navigate for locals. But in the meantime, it's going to create a lot of hazards, and people need to just be a little more patient. Take that extra 10, 15 minutes. I know that you were saying that coming through there yesterday, you had a lot of scares, because it's scary. Some of the places you have to turn and need to turn are not as safe as they once were, and it's just a reality, and that's called progress. There's a lot of growth-related construction going on. We need to be aware of it and also be excited for the future and what it's going to bring, Jimmy, but in the meantime, let's live through it.
Where are we in this particular phase of that construction with a new bridge there at 280?
Well, they have gotten extremely fortunate with weather conditions, and the part on the far side of Highway 280 where they're constructing the first portion of the new bridge and doing a lot of the heavy lifting and bringing it up. See, part of this project is to replace the bridge, but they're also raising the bridge and they're also widening the intersection, and that's for the possibilities of future growth. That's the same thing with all these crossover changes. They don't want to get caught unawares like they did in Shelby County. Didn't anticipate the growth that was coming. We're going to see a lot of that. We're already starting to see a lot of that throughout South Talladega County, and it's obtrusive. There's no nice way to put it. It's obtrusive, but it's part of progress, and it's going to make such a big difference in the long run that we're all going to be proud. But again, slow down. Let's live through the process.
And it's not going to be just an overnight.
No, this can drag on for another year and a half. You know, I mean, this is just a cold, hard reality, things like this. And the same thing with business growth. Their buildings going up, and that means heavy equipment pulling in and out. It's just part of life. Like right now, there's half a dozen bulldozers and other pieces of equipment, more to come, where they're putting in the new jacks across from Express Oil. There are other things that are going on that are going to actually make the traffic even more condensed than it already is.
And that with new businesses, expansion of business, that means brings more jobs.
More jobs. One of the factors that a lot of people miss, and it's the driving force behind the change of my organization's name from the Childersburg Chamber of Commerce to the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce, but we are surrounded by a large geographic area that has a high population, and most of those places only have a couple of little choices for how they spend their money. They gravitate to Highway 280, whether it be Childersburg, Oak Grove, or Sylacauga, to work, to go to school, to shop, to eat, and so many things. And we depend on those outlying areas to supply a great deal of our economy around here. And this is, I guess, an acknowledgement of who these people are and what kind of effect that they have on our population and our economy. Yeah. It's important.
Much question about the closing of the Winn-Dixie store there and that shopping center. It leaves one grocery store there in Childersburg. Any progress as far as bringing another store in, or maybe in that location even?
I have to be careful in exactly what I say, but the reality of it is that a wonderful, wonderful new grocery operation has been identified, and they are ready, willing, and able. There are some other dynamics in play, such as Winn-Dixie still has an active lease. There are different stages at different locations for the parent company in bankruptcy, and the people who own the property are not from around here. They have to do what's in their best interest, but at some point in time, we're all going to be very pleased with what we end up having in that location, not just a grocery store. There's going to be a lot more things that are being planned, and I know that those people that have been recruited are anxious to get going, but the cold hard realities is business and private business is private business, and there's not a lot that I or the city government can do beyond what's already been done except be a little patient.
The Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce CEO, Executive Officer is Tom Roberts. He's with us this morning. Historic downtown Childersburg, man. It
is, well, it's a tragedy that it got into the kind of shape that it did. But there is so much going on down there. Some of it is visible, some of it is not. But right this particular moment, there are 4 separate buildings that are undergoing some sort of renovation for new business. And there is at least 1, possibly 2, later this week that will be a part of that process as well in getting ready for new business. Sometimes the businesses have been identified, but procuring property and making it available to people in business and getting it ready for that business isn't always a quick, easy prospect. There's another business that has completed their renovation and just about has their building, and it's stocked. It's just about ready to go. There were a few family health issues that stood in the way, but the domino effect is about to hit, and people are going to be excited. It's tough for me because there are a lot of times when a guy who's made his living running his mouth has to keep it shut on some particulars, but the folks in charge of the city government, from the employees to the elected officials, are doing a grand job. We're doing a good job, I think. The Commercial Development Authority is really getting its feet under it and doing a lot of good things. And we're starting to see the process coming to fruition in some individual cases. But every time we're able to announce something that is happening, there's something else right behind it. And that's what's exciting to me.
And you've had re-grand openings. I know the McDonald's had, they renovated that store from top to bottom, and the new franchisee ownership, they're so excited about Childersburg.
There are some wonderful people. David and Mary are very community minded. A new business opened last week, Suds or Us, and Tom and Gloria Cuthbert are excited to be there. They've invested a lot of money in equipment, but they're upgrading the services that are available. And something I didn't understand, just a quick note that they passed on to me, they said that 86% of their customers already have a washer and dryer at home.
Wow.
what's going on is they have more kids and more laundry than they can keep up with, and it's a lot more convenient to either drop it off and have
fold
them
the
do
stuff
it.
up and everything,
Yes.
too, huh?
So there are a lot of dynamics in play. It's easier to come get it done in an hour, hour and a half than it is to spend all day at home at 1 day a week or 2 days a week doing laundry.
Tom Roberts, our guest this morning from the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce, and you've been in broadcasting all these years, and a great writer and a voice of many, many events. What's so special about Childersburg that drew you there?
Well, one of the biggest things is when I got started, when I was just a youngster, doing Little League baseball games on the radio here in Sylacauga. You started there too. It was a fun place to be and a fun activity. But Curtis Lyle sent me over to Childersburg years ago to work with J.D. Jones on broadcasting Childersburg sports, and I made a lot of friends over there, and they're still very dear friends. I grew up at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, where we have an affiliation for most of my life with St. Mary's Episcopal Church. So there are a lot of people over there that have been longtime friends. There's another factor as well that most people don't realize. There are more people that own, manage, or otherwise operate businesses in Childersburg that are from Sylacauga. So that's a...
Kind of like school.
Yes, it is. And, you know, folks like Oak Grove Mayor Tony White, he went to Sylacauga. He went to B.B. Comer. He went to Childersburg. At some point in time, his family had him in those, and we're all family, we're all friends. And the reality of it, and this is a part of the name change, if it's good for one of our communities, it's good for all of our communities, because we are one big attraction for those hundreds of thousands of people who live around us that need Highway 280 for a place to work, shop, go to school.
You know, you got the Calvaga grist mill there, and so many different events. Childersburg, the oldest city in the United States, and we have these events every year. Kind of capsule how the events went this year.
Well, we are directly involved with 4 what I call static events. Static means that they're on the same day or weekend or time frame every single year, but we've expanded and gotten into other areas, become associated with the town of Oak Grove and their fall festival, but each one of our festivals and events has gotten bigger, it's gotten stronger, and that comes from working together. And I get hit a lot by all sorts of folks for that list of vendors, because there's some people that have become very familiar with our area, very well known by our citizens, and they help the draw. It's exciting, and most people don't understand that the biggest industry we have around here, the biggest growth industry we have in these parts is tourism. A lot of people flock to the things that we have. Especially if you're an outdoorsman, if you like to hunt, fish, shoot, play golf, hike, bike, kayak, and I could go on for days. For example, AL.com did a feature that they keep bringing back, and I'm glad they do, of the 31 most beautiful places in Alabama. And at the top of the list are 3 things that are associated with South Talladega County. And that's, to me, a tremendous plus that we need to be better exploiting. And there are a lot of people, if we don't participate directly in those things, they may not realize, that our citizens may not realize just how big and important they are. Together, they bring a lot of people for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of folks that are fascinated with our city's history, its location. We're not too far from a mountainous area. We've got a beautiful lake. We have hunting. We have fishing. We have the grist mill. We have farm links. We have Orvis. We have Purcell Farms. All of that are part of a big thing. We have just up the road Top Trails, the Civilian Marksmanship Program, Selwood Farms, Red Eagle Gun Club. Red Eagle, for years they've been hosting the 4-H National Shooting Championships. Well, next year It's not going away, it's adding to. They're going to add archery, the national championships. And this means the weekend of, I had to have about 5 extra food vendors at Coosa Fest just to handle all the people in town shooting at Red Eagle and Selwood as part of the 4-H national championships.
Your brother Bill is the family member with the green thumb.
Absolutely.
But
we both had aspirations in the opposite direction, but God had plans.
I did notice that the farmers market has been moved to another location. Why?
Well, the biggest thing is much as we like the shade and the beauty of having it there on the chamber grounds, the reality is that we were bringing an awful lot of people into the downtown area, which is one of the biggest purposes of doing it. We had to move to the First Baptist parking lot with their permission to accommodate the number of people in a safe manner. That's really starting to pay off. When we opened the market at 12 on Monday, there was a line all the way from 2nd Street all the way into the City Hall parking lot for people waiting. And we haven't even hit the height of the growing season. We're adding vendors all the time, and it's another one of those things that we had to have room. We had to have room for growth.
Tom Roberts, our guest this morning from the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce, and with the holiday season, July the 4th, a lot of lake traffic, a lot of SUVs and boats being pulled by SUVs and all kind of big 18-wheelers coming through the city of Childersburg. We talked about this earlier, about being careful and observing the speed limits. And those police officers out there, they're going to write you a ticket if you abuse your privileges. And of course, we want to remind you to be safe.
Well, there are a lot of folks who complain, well, they're not out there enough. Well, the reality is the number of tickets that have been issued has gone up so tremendously. I was explaining a situation where somebody almost ran over me doing the speed limit. I was doing the speed limit, and they were twice it.
Look at you like you crazy.
And the police just missed them because 2 cars at that moment in sight had 2 other people pulled over giving them tickets. So it's a situation where if you're local, find a better route. Use the traffic lights at 76 and Plant Road whenever possible. It's a lot safer. Will it take you a few extra minutes? Yeah, but those weeks you have to spend in traction at the hospital and rehab.
Or worse yet.
Worse yet. Yeah. So come on.
Yeah, Tom Roberts, our guest this morning. This is going to be for the foreseeable future in the spring and summer, a weekly segment of Daybreak on Wednesday morning, and hopefully we'll be soon showcasing particular businesses.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be bringing some of the folks in that, especially our new entries into the market, because that's important. We need to support them. The more we have, the more we draw. The more we draw, the more we have. That's just a simple process. It takes a little time sometimes, but if you look all across the Greater Coosa Valley, the one thing that you can see in common, Jimmy Dale, is that there is growth from Sylacauga all the way through the city of Childersburg and even across the river into South Shelby County. In my first week, I stopped by Ronnie's Barbershop. And I met every single member of both.
You meet the world at Ronnie's.
I met the old administration and the new administration and those that are carried over in between from Harpersville. Most of their police officers live in Childersburg. I mean, it's a situation where we're neighbors. Let's act like it.
Quickly, those who may be watching in other parts of the state this morning and know Childersburg as a thoroughfare from Alexander City to Birmingham, or Auburn to Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. Give a quick description of why they should slow down coming into Childersburg and take another look.
Well, they're not familiar with what's going on here in some cases coming through. But when you see a bazillion orange signs telling you that construction is going on, when you see the bulldozers and the cranes and the orange cones and the big cement things,
Pretty good heads up, right?
Yeah, but it should be. Unfortunately, it not always is, but this is an area where people come along 280. They come down Plant Road, they come Highway 76 from 21, and these are some busy highways that have only gotten tremendously busy over the last 5-10 years, and this is not a process that's going to be changing. That's why this construction is going on, because traffic is already heavy, and it's expected to get heavier.
All right, Tom Roberts.
That's a good sign.
It is. Tom Roberts, our guest from the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce, and he'll be with us and representatives of the Chamber every Wednesday here on Daybreak. We'll take a quick time out. Tom, thanks for being with us this morning.
You're welcome.
Back with more after this.